Geneva, the second largest city of Switzerland. I arrived here with the Lehman Express I took from Evian-le-Bain, what is in France, and now I continue my way to France by regional train to Lyon. This is actually a rather important connection for long distance passengers as well, because both Lyon and Geneva are important railway junctions where you find lots of long distance trains, not only domestically, but also international. We'll discover all of this in this video. Let's take a closer look at the route map. We start our railway journey in Geneva at the main station, what is Genève-Cornavin. From there on, we make our journey through the French and for a small section through the Swiss Alps to Lyon-Pardieu, what is the main railway station in the French city of Lyon. For example, railway passengers between Switzerland and Spain, this connection is a very important connection. Because you can travel on board of these regional trains if you're traveling with Interrail or Eurail without reservation, this is also a great connection between Switzerland and France for those traveling with Interrail or Eurail, like what I did. Like from many of my videos, let's take a closer look on the environmental impact if you're traveling along this route by train or car. The plane is no serious alternative, however, because this is a connection between two rather big and important junction railway stations, this might be an important crucial connection for a longer journey where you might consider to take the plane otherwise, just like the journey I made. Because from Lyon I traveled by TGV in We train to Brussels in Belgium. Anyway, this graph shows the environmental impact, and for now we really start with this video. I arrived in Geneva by regional train I took from Evian-le-Bain, what is located also on the Lake of Geneva but in France. And when it comes to public transportation connections from and to France and Geneva, you find a lot of them. It's located just across the border into Switzerland, and lots of people do live in France and work in Switzerland, and maybe also the other way around. At the front of the railway station, there are some tram and bus stops. Also within these tram and bus stops there are some vending machines where you can buy tickets as well. To be honest, I found public transportation information within Switzerland always pretty good. Some more tram stops are located at the side, although I feel like most trams will serve the tram stops at the front of the railway station. For those who want to get around by bike, you will find the bike sharing program of Donkey Republic and probably some more here as well, but personally I really like Donkey Republic. I have a subscription for this myself as well. Well, I won't dig in this too much, but you can use it pretty much anywhere. And you also find it in my hometown of The Hague in the Netherlands, where I'm using this as well pretty often. Anyway, let's head into the railway station building, and this here is at the lower underground part, where you find a lot of shops. And if you move out over here, you move basically to the city center. Right now we are below the tram stop at the front of the railway station. And over here, there's also a big parking grass for those who want to go here by car. However, entering the main railway station building from the real front, so at the front of the station where you also find the tram stops, that's the prettiest part for sure. This area here feels a bit like the center part of this railway station, basically because it is. It's a nice main concourse actually. There are some places where you can take a seat, although there are better waiting areas a little bit more at the side. And because this is a rather big station, there's not a shortage of shops. Toilets are located a little bit more at the side, and close to the toilets you will also find some more waiting areas, as you can see over here. I can imagine that this is a bit nicer to wait if you are here in winter time. Vending machines for snacks and drinks, and even for some passport pictures for example, can be found at several spots within this railway station. And over here you have access to the platforms. Although the platform we have today is a little bit special, I'll show you why in a bit. This specific screen was broken, so they had a replacement screen. I really like this. In terms of route information and information about departing trains, Switzerland is just doing very well. From this railway station you obviously find trains to all over Switzerland, but also lots of regional trains to nearby places in France. international trains, long distance trains to Italy, and also long distance trains, so TGV Lyria trains that will go to Paris. Actually, about 2 years ago I made a trip report on one of those from here, and back then I featured this railway station maybe a little bit better. But I think when it comes to understanding this railway station, you get it. Directions have been marked pretty clear, information about departing and also arriving trains has been given pretty good as well, and there are plenty of shops. Because we are in Switzerland, where you find several languages, also information in other languages than in this specific area of Switzerland, French, is being given pretty good as well. Today my train departed from platform number 7, or I should say track number 7. And that's located here on the left. And as you can see, there's a kind of customs sign to it as well. And here on the right we find some vending machines for the regional trains in France. I'll get back to train tickets a little bit later on. Theoretically, custom formalities can take place over here. However, because both Switzerland and France are part of the Schengen area, this won't happen that much. It still might happen every now and then though. And this looks very serious. Sometimes I do get these questions on my videos. What do I need if I'm traveling? Do I need a valid travel document? And my answer is always that you need a valid travel document. No matter if you make an international journey or a domestic journey, maybe if you stay in your home country, and well, there might be different rules, but you always need to be able to identify yourself. And if you are abroad, this is always a travel document, a passport or an ID card. As a matter of fact, it's kind of worrisome that people ask these kind of questions. I don't like to say that silly questions do exist, but this question is rather silly at least. Anyway, if custom formalities take place over here, this is a kind of area after the customs, so if you're been through customs. And here we go to the platform. In this area there are some more toilets. And here we move to the platform. Well, the platform is not that special, to be honest. I mean, there are some places where you can take a seat, but that's basically it. I hope you like this video so far, or that it's a helpful video to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate that. Questions, feedback, comments, or well, if you just want to say hello, feel free to leave a comment. This is all improving the algorithm of YouTube, so this video might be suggested a bit more often to other people. And if you like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or international traveling, to show you what it's like to travel in a more sustainable way of transportation. I mean, crossing a border is, in general, when it comes to tickets and so, more complicated than it should be. So this is what I'm trying to explain in these videos. But if you'd like to see more, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. For now, we just continue with this video. For passengers traveling with the TGV Lyria high-speed trains from here to France, there are some letters at the platform as well, and these letters will refer to where some carriages of those trains will be at the platform. You find TGV Lyria high-speed trains to Paris, quite a lot actually, and also some trains to Marseille in the south of France. There are also some regional trains that are, well, kind of longer distance that will go to Avignon, and the train that will be taken today to Lyon. From here I also noticed a rather big parking grass for bikes at the back of the station. Anyway, here is our train coming in that will take us to Lyon-Part-Dieu, the main railway station of Lyon in France. It was getting kind of busy at the platform, so at first I thought the train might be busy as well. But then, this is a really long train. And it was rather quiet at the beginning, what is perfect for filming, obviously. This is the train type Autorail à grande capacité, or basically translated in English, high capacity rail car. For our journey today, the train existed of 3 of these electrical multiple units that all consisted of 4 carriages. So our train consisted in total of 12 carriages. These are pretty good regional trains. I mean, these are regional trains, so in terms of facilities, don't expect too much. They have first and second class, and the first and second class have been marked crystal clear at the sides. Just like, for example, we find the bike area. For now, let's discover the interior of these trains, and for this we'll start off in the first class. The first class is located at one very end of each train set. And at the side, this has been marked crystal clear as well, also the color is slightly different. First class is nice on board of these trains. However, personally I wouldn't spend the extra amount on first class if I would be traveling along this route. In percentage, it's another 50% on top of the full fare for second class on these trains. I mean, the seats are maybe a bit wider and you have more legroom for sure, but I feel like mainly the aisle is wider. The seats are comfortable though, don't get me wrong, and there's definitely more space because there are less seats in this area. So yeah, I mean, it's up to you. If you have the money to spend, just go for first class, and otherwise second class is a good product. Within the first class area you find power sockets, obviously, and there's a little bit more space for luggage maybe. If you're traveling with your bike, you need to hang your bike like this in the special bike area. A network map for regional trains within this area of France is located at several spots within the train. The front part of the train was getting actually rather busy, because most people who enter these trains will, well, get out at the platform where this part of the train is. However, at the moment I moved to the total back of the train, there was a lot of space. So let me move on there to show you the interior of these trains. By the way, what I haven't mentioned yet, very basic LED screens at the side of the train do host some route information as well. And also at the platform there are clear screens with route information for the train. Actually, also the train composition was mentioned over here in Switzerland, including a kind of business indicator. However, this is in general a tip. Try to spread out at the platforms, because it happens pretty often that one part of the train is really full and busy and other parts are pretty much empty. That was also the case over here. Even though the train was definitely not overcrowded, but for filming I like empty trains a bit more. If we move on a little bit, you find a kind of standing dining area. I think there used to be some vending machines over here, because it has some dining car vibes over there. Actually, I like that. And the second class or standard class, just how you want to mention it, comes in a layout like this. Combination of airline style seats, or in the majority, and some seats facing each other. You also find some couches in the length of the train. And near the bike area and the accessible area, there are also some folding seats. Right now we are near the accessible area, so let's also review the bigger accessible toilets. And to be honest, for an accessible toilet, it's not that spacious. You will find 2 toilets per train set. And this here is the smaller non-accessible toilet. What is pretty fine along this route at least. It's not super clean, but maybe this is more because of the, well, gravity on the wall, but it wasn't a toilet I would consider as dirty myself. Now let's do a seat review. You will find seats facing each other. In that case there's a bigger table in between and you can fold it out to make it slightly bigger. Power plugs are located at the side of the train, just like sunscreens, but you find all over the train, both in first and second class. The seats are reclinable, although the amount is very minimal, and I also found out this didn't went smooth at all in these trains. Anyway, the handle to recline the seats is located right under your seat, if it works at least. I found a pattern on the seats. It's not dirty, but it's definitely showing its age, while it looks dirtier than it really is, to be honest. These trains have been produced in the zeros of the 2000s, and these trains do show their age, but they're definitely not old trains. I think a light refurbishment can be a big difference on this. Reading lights are located above all seats. What I didn't put well on camera, and shame on me for this because I like these seats most, are the airline style seats. However, the amount of legroom is very reasonable and there's a sturdy fold-out table in the seat in front of you. While I show you some first views from the train, let me tell you something about ticket fares. And on this route I didn't notice any promotions, even not if I split up my ticket within France. Although this might work pretty often for cheaper tickets as well, but then the cheaper tickets are for specific trains only. Anyway, a full fare ticket, so without any discounts, For second class on this route will cost you €34.10. For first class, this is €51.70, what's not worth it in my opinion. By the way, the price levels are all based at the moment of editing, and this is in the last quarter of 2025. You can book tickets via the French state-owned railway company, although in my personal opinion this is one of the worst booking websites ever for train tickets. So in this situation I really prefer Trainline, and for my regular viewers, you know that I already mentioned Trainline in my earlier videos. And I really like Trainline because they can combine different tickets of different railway companies, so you can book to more destinations than if you book directly via some railway companies. Anyway, an affiliate link to Trainline can be found in the description of this video. If you're using that, you also support this channel a little bit. I really appreciate that. And for those traveling with Interrail and Eurail, you can just hop on board of these trains. You don't need to pay a surcharge and no reservation is needed. However, you do need to activate a travel day and mention the specific train on your Interrail or Eurail pass. The train makes a route through the outskirts of Geneva and will pass by some stations that are being served by the Leyman Express, what is a more regional train, and also international by the way. Those trains will serve the smaller stations between Geneva and Bellegarde, what is the first station for our train today along this route. And even though this is a regional train, due to the amount of stops along the way and also the distance, it doesn't feel like a regional train at all. It's a medium distance, I would say. It's around 200 kilometers that we were covering on board of this train, and there are not that many stops. Although this also depends a little bit on the train you take. The travel time on board of these trains between Geneva and Lyon is depending on the train you take between 1 hour and 52 minutes and 2 hours and 9 minutes. Here the train is arriving at the railway station of Bellegarde. For now on, I will just show you some views I had from the train. I will do this without a voiceover. For this route I also recorded the views from the train without a voiceover and without, well, any music, just real train sound. And you can find that video on the Trainviking passenger POV YouTube channel. That's a separate YouTube channel, but for now just sit back, relax and enjoy the views from the train. I'm here at Lyon-Pardieu railway station where I arrived with this train. Beginning I thought it was really busy actually, but eventually this train is super long. It wasn't that bad, especially at Geneva if I moved to the back. Got a little bit busier there later on as well during the trip. Anyway, I think this is a great connection. The frequency might be a bit higher in my opinion, but in general, this is a great connection between Geneva and Lyon. I needed to quit for the announcement. Anyway, I hope you liked this video, or that it's been helpful to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or international traveling. Well, we definitely had an international train on this one. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. Some questions, feedback, comments, if you just want to say hello, feel free to drop a comment. And before we really end up this video, one very last thing. Once again, thank you for watching. Related videos can be found in the description of this video, and something else you find in the description of this video is a link to a map where you find all videos as well, but then on a map. And of course you can always subscribe to see new videos coming up, and you can find a lot of videos on this channel as well. See you on the next video.